You know, I can't believe that they're continuing to go on with this whole impeachment crap. Let me explain what's currently happening. Jerry Nadler, who happens to be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, has said that a formal impeachment inquiry has now begun. Now, before you one before you make an assumption, know that this is not a start of actual impeachment or an articles of impeachment. It's just mainly they're looking into the possibility of the president committing crimes, which could be an impeachable offense, and then if they see anything like that, they will send that to the House as a proposal, and of course, a lot of Democrats have been interested in this for quite some time, or at the very least, House Democrats have been interested in this for quite some time. The last time I checked, it was about 2 weeks ago, was that over 100 representatives who identify themselves as Democrats support the idea of an impeachment inquiry. Well, overall, they support the idea of impeachment, but still. And this doesn't. And this doesn't help that a lot of people are especially trying to fan the flame to try to get this inquiry going to see if there's any issue to impeach the president on. In fact, House Congressman Al Green specifically mentioned that mainly part of the reason of the inquiry, at least from his opinion, was mainly because he wants to impeach Trump because of his quote unquote racism. And he refers to a poll by Quinnipiac, which says that 51% of the nation thinks Trump is racist. Which, honestly, I do not believe that poll for 1 second. I think that's complete crap. I really do not believe that's the case. And 51%, come on, that seems very, very far-fetched. I don't think even the entire left believes that Donald Trump is racist. I believe that a lot of them believe he's an asshole, and while that's legitimate, I don't believe that a lot of them think he's a racist. Well, honestly, I think that the far left still does, but I digress. Why, though, is the impeachment still going on? Because the whole idea of Russian collusion is still being perpetrated. Maybe not in the media, because ever since the Robert Mueller's testimony, it basically collapsed on itself. Thus, the mainstream media has been promoting this idea that tried to divert itself away from the Robert Mueller investigation by promoting the idea that Trump and Trump supporters are racist or bigoted, which is completely BS, by the way. And of course, there's been this whole ramp up of anti-Trump rhetoric, especially with accusing him with being a white nationalist, a white supremacist, and just throwing insults and just attacks on his own character. This doesn't help that it's in the election of that this it may be the result of the 2020 presidential election, and of course the recent shootings that occurred in El Paso and Dayton. Of course, I bet the entire mainstream media doesn't talk really too much about Dayton, considering that the shooter happened to be sympathetic to Antifa and is a devout leftist, while El Paso was a white nationalist. So you can connect the strings from there, connect the dots from there. This is just going to add more problems for the Democrats, because they have been pushing this narrative of impeachment even before Donald Trump came into office. They constantly say that Trump is a racist, a bigot, maybe supported by the Russians, may have been doing something that may be against U.S. American law, etc., etc., etc. They have been pushing this since before his win in 2016. They have been pushing that. And even, it's really annoying, especially with the fact that being racist or bigoted is not really an impeachable offense. Unless you actually practice that in real life and try and openly discriminate in terms of job positions, then yeah, that's definitely the case. That would definitely be the case of articles of impeachment, because that would be a direct violation of U.S. law. But again, this whole impeachment idea has been circling around for 3 years now. No one likes to talk about it because no one really thinks that the president hasn't done anything. And even those that don't like the president, they don't see any reason for this. All this is doing is that it's pushing the Democrats farther and farther to the left, to appease and virtue signal just to the far left. Because that's their devout supporters, and they believe that if they continue to do this, they suddenly will get every far left supporter to the ballot box, which I doubt that's gonna happen. Again, they're shifting further and further to the left, too far for the left for some, and that's just gonna alienate some people. They'll be independent, they'll be Trump supporters, they'll vote for a different kind of Republican, they'll vote for any different representative or candidate, but they won't vote for the Democrats. It's just gonna look bad for the Democrats either way. And it's just gonna be this whole inquiry will just be a whole waste of resources and time, as well as money. We already seen that happen with the Mueller report. $25 million wasted, 2 years wasted, and still Trump did not. There is no evidence to show that Trump colluded with the Russians or committed any sort of violation of U.S. law. And yet they're still pushing for impeachment. All this is doing for the Democrats is making themselves more like a tyrannical party. Not only are they pushing further and further to the left, not only are they trying to go around with attacking the president either way, trying to form impeachment inquiries, but they have done so many things that as a result that would make them look so tyrannical. For one, the encouragement, the non-discouragement of doxing, or at the very least, obviously doxing, because Joaquin Castro actually tried to dox some Trump donors in Texas, and now he's facing federal investigation, a possible federal investigation. Plus, let's not forget about the whole fact that AOC and the squad are propped up as a major representation of the Democratic Party, as well as their seeming condonement of terrorism in the case of Antifa. Although I would also add into that the mainstream media has also been seemed like it's been condoning for a long time, just attacking white nationalists. But when it comes to Antifa, they're pretty silent on that. It's probably because it's called anti-fascist, despite the fact that they attack anyone who they think is a fascist. Just saying. And of course, the attacks on Trump, the impeachment, the far left policies, and the massive amount of division, because they are grouping one side and claiming that, trying to attack them as if they are the villains, as if they're the bad guys. In this case, that would be Trump supporters, Republicans, and even in some cases, the center, the moderates. I don't see anything going well for the Democrats. If this is their election strategy, this is how you lose the presidential election. Just saying. And this is coming from a Republican and a conservative. Democrats will lose 2020, but that's not the only problem that they have. They will remain having this image as a party that promotes many of these far left policies that would lean or are in the area of tyrannical. And honestly, I do not see anything that would help the Democrats, even beyond 2020. They definitely need some soul searching after this, and try to find some way for themselves to, at the very least, go a little bit closer to the center and try to oust those crazies in their own party. But at this point, I do not see anything like that happening. And I do not see the impeachment inquiry turning up anything at either. If it somehow manages to pass, and I think there may be a chance of that, considering that the Democrats have control of the House Judiciary Committee, there will still not be impeachment. While there's still over 100 Democrats that support the idea of impeachment, the Republicans definitely do not, and there are still some of those Democrats that don't support impeachment. So yeah, I do not see anything coming through this. And let's not forget, even if impeachment does pass, the Senate will be the ones judging the President of the United States. And they need a 2/3 supermajority in order to convict him. And considering that this is seems to be more of a partisan kind of ploy, and that the Republicans have to have 53 seats in the Senate, which makes up a simple majority, I do not see anything like that happening. You would need a much stronger case to get the Republicans on your side. And I don't see anything at all in which the Republicans will switch sides. I do not. And at this point, impeachment, whether it happens to Trump or not, will just be in the image of, not the image, will just be seen as an attack on the president, just because he's the president. And it will also show that the Democrats do not respect the idea of either due process or the vote of the people. And in all honesty, this will kill them in the very end. This will kill the Democratic Party, because a lot of people are definitely walking away. You want to know something, Democrats? Or at least the high-ranking ones and you far-left supporters that definitely think Trump is a racist and you support socialism and identity politics and that stuff. Here's a message I have for you. You reap what you sow. My name is Noah, me and all the Art Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any criticisms about how I do my videos, please post them down in the comments below or message me. Thank you.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.